What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we are taking a look at one of the most broken Warlock builds currently available in Destiny 2. While it might be the ugliest exotic in the game, the Dawn Chorus provides unparalleled benefits that are completely overpowered, with rapid ability regeneration, fast charging supers, and a huge damage bonus. This exotic just might be the best exotic for Solar Warlocks, even better than the Starfire protocol. Dawn Chorus comes with the intrinsic trait called Rites of Ember, which provide a few different benefits. The first listed benefit is for the Daybreak super only. Your projectiles will apply bonus Scorch when hitting a target. 60 Scorch will be applied, but when using Ember of Ashes, that will be increased to 90 points of Scorch instead. The rest of the benefits are applicable to either Daybreak or Well of Radiance, and honestly, I find it more practical in most situations to run this build with Well of Radiance, with how much tougher the enemies have become this season. While wearing Dawn Chorus, all Scorch effects will deal 200% bonus damage. That's Scorch from abilities, supers, and weapons. When enemies are affected by Scorch, you'll receive just over 6% melee energy for each enemy affected. The damage bonus to Scorch is reduced for PvP, down to 50%. But nevertheless, still very beneficial when pairing this exotic up with the right aspects, fragments, and weapons. So let's go ahead and take a look at what makes this broken Dawn Chorus build tick. Before we jump into this Solar 3.0 class tree, if you do end up enjoying today's video and finding it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. As I previously mentioned, for most situations, like the Root of Nightmares raid, which comes out tomorrow, you'll find Well of Radiance to be a much better build option than Daybreak ever could be. With that in mind, we're setting this Solar class tree up to complement the increase in Scorch damage, and we've gotten some big help in that department, thanks to some new and some updated Solar fragments that are now available this season. First off, we are using Touch of Flame, which gives us enhanced functionality with our grenades. We're going with Firebolt grenades. These will now hit up to 3 targets at once, and the Firebolts themselves have extended range. Another reason we're using Firebolt grenades is because of this season's artifact mod, called Rain of Firebolts, which provides an additional Firebolt grenade, giving us 2 total Firebolts to use. Both Icarus Dash and Heat Rises provide great benefits, but both are fairly situational. Heat Rises will require you to either hop around or just stay in the air a lot to keep the Heat Rises active, but it does provide great benefits towards ability regeneration. With that being said, I often find myself going with Icarus Dash for the improved mobility, something that can really be a big help when going through jumping puzzles, fighting shielded Cabal, or any enemy that may force push you away, which is likely going to be the case pretty often in Root of Nightmares. We're also going with Celestial Fire instead of the Snap, because I prefer the added range that Celestial Fire provides. Either one we select though will effectively scorch enemies on contact, and keep in mind we'll get 6% energy back on each target scorched. For our fragments, we're going with Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy, and now creates a Fire Sprite. Fire Sprites intrinsically provide 10% grenade energy when collected, but there is a 5-second cooldown in between its activation. Ember of Searing will provide 8 to 15% energy for rank and file adds, 17% for yellow bars, and 25% for mini-bosses, champions, tormentors, and bosses. This will also provide 20% regeneration when in PvP. We're also going with Ember of Ashes. This applies more Scorch stacks to targets, keeping in mind that Dawn Chorus is still providing 200% bonus damage to those affected by Scorch, and this fragment impacts the Scorch provided from any source. Once enemies build up enough stacks of Scorch, they ignite and explode, so we're using Ember of Char, which will cause those solar ignitions to spread Scorch to nearby enemies. We're using the new solar fragment called Ember of Mercy, which grants restoration when you revive an ally, but more importantly, this provides restoration when collecting a Fire Sprite. This is a ×1 restoration, which provides immediate recovery activation, along with 40 health points in total. for each Fire Sprite collected. Ember of Mercy also provides an additional 10 points in resilience, which can make a significant impact on your survivability with how resilience has changed. With resilience in mind, the maximum resilience your armor can provide is 30% with a 100 stack of resilience. But thankfully, there have been some new armor mods added that will greatly make up for this reduction. If you find your armor lacking in resilience, the chest armor mod called Font of Endurance will provide 30 points of resilience while you have armor charge activated. This will provide 50 for the use of 2 mods and 60 for the use of 3. Other font mods like Agility, Wisdom, Focus, and the others will provide the same level of benefits towards their respective armor stat. Because of my current armor's 100 stack of resilience, 90 stack of recovery, and 100 stack of discipline, which governs our grenade regeneration, I don't currently find myself in need of those mods. So for that reason, I'm not including them in this build. Starting with our helmets, we're going with Ashes to Assets. Since we have 2 Firebolt grenades to use, this will be of great importance towards getting our super back quickly, as it provides roughly 2% energy for low-ranking enemies, and upwards of 13% for higher tiered enemies. Because I have activated the artifact mod for solar and grenade authorization, you'll notice that many of the mods that we're using have reduced energy requirements, making it easier to pair up with many of these mods, ultimately making a better build. We're using a solar siphon mod, which generates orbs off of rapid weapon kills with that specified weapon. Since I'm only using solar weapons right now, the only 2 siphon mods I could benefit from would be kinetic and harmonic. Since I am using the Deliverance though, and it is a stasis weapon, that will generate orbs from either a kinetic siphon mod or a stasis siphon mod. Heavy Ammo Finder will provide a slight increase in the drop chance for heavy ammo, which is always going to be appreciated when there's bosses and champions afoot. For our gloves, we're going with Impact Induction and Momentum Transfer. These are going to work out very harmoniously. Impact Induction will provide 20% grenade energy after damaging an enemy with a melee. We would get 30% for the use of 2, but we are using Momentum Transfer, which is going to provide 20% melee energy when hitting an enemy with a grenade. Each mod does have a 7-second cooldown, but will work wonders towards regenerating those abilities and applying a continuous stream of Scorch onto your enemies. We're also going with Firepower, which is going to create orbs off of kills with our grenades. Orbs play a key role in the new build crafting system, so setting yourself up to make plenty of them will do you and your team a big solid. For chest armor, we're going with 2 resistance mods, which will need to be swapped out based on what activity you're running. A heavy sniper activity will call for the need of sniper resistance, while heavy waves of bum rushing adds would call for either melee resistance or concussive dampener. We're also using emergency reinforcement. Since I'm at maxed out resilience, this will be a better benefit than Font of Endurance. When I become critically wounded, as long as there are armor charge stacks currently active, this mod will consume those stacks and provide a 30% damage reduction from any source for a short duration. The duration is based on how many stacks of armor charge were consumed. This starts at 5 seconds for the consumption of 3, 7 seconds for 4, 10 seconds for 5. I haven't been able to determine for certain if stacking this mod increases the damage reduction, but it does not appear that it does. Further testing is still needed. For leg armor, we're going with Recuperation, providing us with 70 points of health when collecting an orb. The effects cannot stack for this mod, so using either Invigoration, Innervation, or Orbs of Restoration would be a good alternative. But if you're looking at dealing out bonus weapon damage to stack on top of the bonus Scorch damage, I highly recommend the use of at least 1, if not 2, or even 3 weapon surge mods. This will be a significantly important mod to use for boss DPS, so if you're getting your build ready for Roots of Nightmare, be sure to make space for a weapon surge mod. Weapon Surge mod works in a bit different fashion than the font mods do. When you collect an orb, you receive armor charge. Each orb gives 1 stack of armor charge. Each stack of armor charge lasts for 10 seconds. With the combination of stacks on stacks, time dilation, and charged up, you can at most obtain 6 stacks of armor charge at once, which would provide you with a total of 60 seconds of armor charge buff. Stacks on Stacks provides you with an additional armor charge socket, and Charged Up provides you with 2 stacks of armor charge instead of 1 when collecting an orb. Time Dilation is going to extend the duration of each stack of armor charge from 10 seconds to 15 for the use of 1, 18 for the use of 2, and 20 for the use of 3. While you have any armor charge active, Weapon Surge will provide a 10% bonus in damage for the use of 1 mod, 17% bonus damage for the use of 2, and 22% bonus damage for the use of 3 Weapon Surge mods. This will give any matching weapon type an increase in overall damage, and this timer can be extended by simply collecting more orbs. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that if you're running Grenade, Utility, or Melee Kickstart, or in our case, Emergency Reinforcement, those mods will consume stacks of armor charge, so you'll need to keep an eye out on your left side flavor text. For our class item, we're going with Time Dilation, but we're just going with 1 for this build, increasing the duration of our armor charge stacks from 10 seconds to 15, since we're not using Charged Up or Stacks on Stacks right now. The maximum armor charge sockets that we have are 5, and we'll only get 1 armor charge for each orb picked up. We're also using Bomber, which is going to give Warlocks 25% grenade energy after casting Rift. We're also using Bulwark Finisher. There's a lot of surprisingly beneficial finisher mods that are available this season. There's mods to reload your weapons, to gain special ammo, to return energies, but the one that I've found most useful is Bulwark Finisher. This will consume 3 armor charges, but when you have armor charge and perform a finisher, you receive a 45-point Void Overshield, lasting for a short duration. If you're at a full 3 armor charge stacks, the shield will last for 8 seconds. This is something that could really get you out of a sticky situation if you get onslaught by enemies. What's also going to help get you out of sticky situations are our choices in weaponry. First off, for Kinetic is a weapon that I've spoke of quite often in the past. The Deliverance. This fusion rifle comes with Demolitionist, which will automatically reload the weapon when throwing a grenade while the Deliverance is equipped, and any kills with the Deliverance is going to regenerate grenade energy. This also comes with Chill Clip, a great weapon trait to have against tougher enemies and champions to be able to slow and freeze them. This also works out really well with Scorch effects because the enemies get stuck in place. With Scorch in mind, there's a lot of strong energy weapons, solar legendary weapons with incandescent, like the Callus Mini Tool, the Judgment of Kelgaroth, or the Trustee would make for fine additions to this build with their inclusion of incandescent. There's a ton of exotics now that pair up nicely with Scorch effects. The Prometheus Lens, Sunshot, Tycho's Divination, or Skyburner's Oath will all be great. Considering the amount of Cabal forces that we've seen in Lightfall so far, Skyburners will really do well. For heavy weapons, the Cry Mutiny is going to be one of the best to pair up with the Dawn Chorus, because it comes with Vorpal or Demolitionist, along with Incandescent. Vorpal and Incandescent together will really benefit from the bonus Scorch damage. The Two-Tailed Fox has become a very strong heavy option, as its catalyst has added an arc rocket that jolts, adding to the suppression rocket and scorching solar rocket. The Cataclysmic Linear Fusion Rifle will still make for a great legendary DPS weapon. The Sleeper Simulant, the Lament, and the 1K Voices will also be great options relative to what activity you're in. Weapons like the Wendigo or Ascendancy rocket launcher that come with explosive light will also provide you with immense benefits, as these weapons get increased damage when collecting orbs. Along with the Rain of Firebolts artifact mod, we've also activated the Solar Surge mod, which will grant armor charge when collecting fire sprites. The Prismatic Transfer can become a very beneficial final column mod in times of boss DPS, as casting your Well of Radiance will apply bonuses to weapon damage to allies who are using non-solar weapons. And with that, I think we've covered damn near everything about this exceptionally overpowered Solar Warlock build, featuring the Dawn Chorus exotic helmet. While there's a lot of strong builds currently developing in the sandbox of Destiny, you'll find that this Dawn Chorus Warlock build has top tier ability regeneration, health recovery, and one of the strongest damage bonuses available, and is well worth your time into looking into. Even though this thing does look like garbage, even the ornament doesn't really make it look any better. But by any means, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Dawn Chorus and this Solar Warlock build. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts of the new Roots of Nightmare raid are, and what your thoughts of Lightfall are so far. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.